Bitcoin, we start with one hour chart. Just I want to give a quick update. Okay, if we refer to our analysis in my last video, at that time the price was within this move. We mentioned we want to see the correction and we want to see the breakout of 41,300 by 42,300. Okay, that's why right now we see the prices within this zone we have been looking for. And as we can see, the price tag 42,300, but no one see whether the price can break or not. Because if we move to daily chart, this is the resistance we're looking for, and we want to see the breakout of that level. Okay, because right now we put orange line like this, and the only thing is we want to see whether the price can break. If I zoom, the price can break 42,300, which is the previous top or not. Okay, now the only thing is, because at the first stage we have been looking at the chart as this is what we consider as a correction, and we mentioned we want to see whether this one we can consider as a last wave or not. All right, and this is what we get. All right, no, the only thing is whether the price can break the previous top or not, because in other way we can look at this one as a flat as well. Okay, but to put technically to put this one in relative to this, which is not really correct. But as long as the price haven't break the previous top, we need to be quite careful, because this correction, as I explained in my last analysis, can tend to a more complex correction. That means if you want to look for buy, we need to get the proper correction from here for continuation. Now, whether we can look for buy or not, okay, this is the question, how we can look at the chart. First things, if we move to forward chart, if we put this top relative to the previous one based on forward chart, we see we have a divergence. This is the first things we need to be quite careful, because if the price cannot break that 42,300, then we can expect the price to drop and even give us a deeper correction. All right, and now the question is whether we can consider this one as a correction, as a flat in relative to this and this, since both of them is a sharp move as a three waves. In that case, we need to be quite careful about the divergence because the three waves. All right, this is technically how we can look at the chart. But no, the only thing is we cannot conform with that. That means we cannot really rely at this stage. We cannot really rely on the divergence. Okay, that means still we can expect the price to continue. The only thing is whether the price can break this level or not. Then how we can look at the trade if we want to take the trade, whether we should look for buy or not. Okay, the only things we need to highlight here that if we want to buy, the only way is to put our entry at the top, which is 40 to 300. But having entry above the top, if the price tag, as we see based on forward chart, we have a divergence, the price can drop quite a lot if there is no breakout. And even if we move to forward 1 hour chart, if we put this top in relative to the previous one, even based on 1 hour chart, we see we have a divergence. All right, even based on 1 hour chart. Now, what should we do? How we can look at the trade? All right, as I explained based on forward chart, if I put this one in relative to this, that means I will consider this one as a flat. But whether we can put this in relative to this or not, I don't think so. Because what we get here is really sharp, but this one is a quite corrective. Then there is a possibility of this one turn to flat. And the next drop, if we get, it can turn to sharp as what we get here. That's why if we want to look for buy from here, we need to be quite careful. Then how we can look for the next trade, either buy or sell. If it refers to the indicators, as we mentioned, we have a divergence. That means the possibility of the price to give us one more drop is very high. That means if you want to look for sell in terms of the risk and reward, it gives us better opportunity to look for. Because if we want to sell from here, the only way is to put our entry below this and we put our stop loss above here. All right, this is if anyone is looking for sell, because mostly if the price cannot break the previous 42,300, the next down move can be quite sharp. And if we want to look for buy, how we can at this stage, the only way is to put our entry above here. But we should know that if we put our entry above here, the price simply can tag and drop. Then it doesn't mean we cannot look for buy by having entry above here. We can, but we should know how risky is that. That's why if we want to look for buy, if we move to 15 minutes, what we prefer, we want to see one more drop. Because the next drop can give us a confirmation whether the price is going to continue or not. That means if we get one more drop with the retest of the previous low, Then from there, if there is no continuation, then we can consider this one as a flat. Then at that time, we can put our entry above this one, which is around 442K. Then if we get any reversal with a breakout of 42,300, we can stop and we can start to manage it, move our stop loss to break even. That's mean as long as the price, if I move to 1 hour chart, if you want to look for buy, again, I need to highlight that having entry above desktop can be an option, but it's really risky. It depends on the traders. That's why if you want to look for buy, we wait for one more drop with the breakout of the previous low. If there is no continuation, then we can look at this one as a correction, as a flat. Then we can put our entry at 42,200. And what we want in case the price continue from here with a sharp move and with the breakout of 42,200, 42,300, we move our stop loss to break even. Or we wait for the breakout of 42,300. Then if we see the confirmation for the breakout, the next flag, we take the trade. That's why I want to say that having entry above this is not really good idea. It's very risky. All right. Now, we don't have really good trade setup to look for buy, either buy or sell. As I mentioned, if you want to look for sell, at this stage, the only thing is we put our entry below this, which is somewhere around, if I zoom out, somewhere around, if I put my line here, it will be more clear. That means we put our entry somewhere around 41,200 for sell. And with the stop loss above this. And what we want if the price drops sharply. Then from there, we start to manage. If we see there is a continuation, move our stop loss to break even and just let it go. Because I mentioned, if the price gives us one more drop, we can expect to be as sharp as what we get here. Okay, that's why we can expect to get one more drop. Then this one turn to internal flat in relative to this and including this. Then from there, either we see the continuation or we can expect this one turn to similar to what we have here. And then from there, if you see there is no continuation, we can take out the trade. And from there, we look for the reversal. But if we want to look for buy, if the price continue from here, having entry above this, it depends on the traders. But if the price continue from here, what I prefer, we see the confirmation of breakout of 42,300, then with the sharp move, the next flag, we take the trade. But the best things, if you want to look for buy, the best things is we get one more drop. If there is no continuation, that's mean if the price drop to 41, we see the price is not going, it start to correct. Then from there, we can put over entry above here, which is 42. Then any breakout with a if we get any reversal as a sharp move with the breakout of 42,300, we start to manage it. That's mean what I want to say that if we want to look for buy, as long as the price haven't broke the 42,300, we need to be quite careful because what we get here, it doesn't give us a proper trade setup because we don't see the three waves structure here. That's why if we get one more drop, it can give us better confirmation to look for next trade. Anyway, we just follow the chart. If I see any update, I will share. And as I mentioned, based on daily chart, if we move to daily chart, the only thing is we want to see whether we can consider this one as a start of the up move or not, because we can expect this one to a more complex correction. If the price can break 42,300, or if we get a correction here based on daily chart, it can give us better confirmation for continuation. But from what we have right now based on daily chart, we don't see any confirmation. In this case, we just follow the chart. If I see any update, I will share. And buying, as long as the price haven't broke the 42,300 is really risky. Mostly as we see, we have a divergence either based on 1 hour or 4 hour chart. Mostly we can expect to get one more drop, at least similar to what we have here. All right, this is in terms of the technically when we look at the chart, but all the times the chart doesn't follow as what we expected. Okay, that's why if we get one more drop, if we turn this one turn to 3 waves, having entry above this, which is around 42, can be an option. Anyway, we just follow the chart. If I see any update, I will share. Thanks.